Okay.
Hello again. It's been a little while. It is Monday, the 13th of September, and we've missed a few days. We've been a little busy and trying to make things happen.
Yeah, I think we've been averaging 30,000 steps a day. Between yesterday we had a little bit of some camp chore time. Did some
Yep.
cleanup and took some time to do some housekeeping, so to speak. But yeah, we've been running around and we get going early in the morning, getting up quarter to 4 o'clock. Cup of coffee, some oatmeal. Well, I have coffee and oatmeal.
I have oatmeal.
Yeah, oatmeal and water. I don't know.
I don't like that black stuff.
So it's pitch dark in the morning, so we haven't done this in the morning, and then we get sidetracked when we get back. So we're playing catch up and trying to remember the last update we did.
Uh-huh.
So we're going to back up to where we think we didn't update, which is not, we didn't do yesterday, and we did something the afternoon before, but not that night.
Yeah.
Yesterday was Sunday.
So Saturday night.
And
we went out to the bowl.
And we mentioned the bowl in a previous video.
It's just this kind of a mountain-shaped, smaller mountain-shaped point that's got a hole in the top of it and a little bit down one side that gets protected from the sun, stays a little cooler. It's incredibly thick and nasty and a good place for elk to go and hide and get away from civilization.
Yeah, yep. And then you can't sneak in there on them whatsoever. It's just impossible.
Yeah.
But
if it's not the noise of everything you're going over, it seems like the wind is always against you while you're going through it.
Yeah, you think you got the wind right, and then it changes its mind.
Yes. But we know there's elk in there.
Yeah, we knew from what we observed and looked at that we need to get in there fairly early. It's dark around 6:30 or so.
Yeah.
And sphinx moth.
Yep.
Guest appearance by the sphinx moth. So we figured, well, if we get in there by 4 o'clock,
we should be good.
We were wrong.
Yeah. They were already up and moving.
Yeah, I climbed into my hide and we had bugling happening, and I could see elk move on a hillside across a ravine, which was not a good sign.
And they wandered off, it sounds like, and that was about all the excitement we had that night.
Yeah, kept hoping that they would work their way our direction. That never happened. We never had elk come in from another direction. That never happened, so it was just a washout.
We did hear them, though, as we were walking out. We heard a couple of bugles close to us.
Yep. Yeah. So they were working the direction we wanted them to go, now that we know more.
Yeah. Exactly. Now that we know more.
So we are hunting a piece of this forest that we have not put a lot of time into before because we haven't needed to. This year, there's more water. If that impacts things, I don't know, but there's more different people utilizing the public land for things other than hunting. So it's not hunting pressure that we're feeling, but some people showing up in random spots in the forest, camping out, and having impact on where we can hunt, where we usually hunt.
Yes. And it just seems that the elk are doing things different this year than last year. With the higher moisture, there's a lot more feed around.
Yep.
It's a little bit warmer right now, and we're a little earlier into the rut, so patterns are different. Well, whatever patterns there are different.
Yeah. So we've tried to learn and adapt and do a lot more scouting. We're spending a lot of time walking and looking and scouting and planning and trying to come up with different plans. And so yesterday morning was our first morning sitting
up on the ridge that we showed you that we're building a setup. We had found a good heavily used trail, and we made an uphill and a downhill setup for the wind. And that morning we heard them coming up the hill, but they went on the opposite side of the ridge line.
Yeah, there's a little upslope from us, and then there's a break on the other side of that, and they walked through the break and around us, and not over and past us. So we were close.
Close. But we didn't do anything to try and spook them, and nothing sounded like they were worried or concerned, and they just took their time and left.
Yep, went on their way.
And as we walked out, I managed to spot a cow elk in the distance, maybe 80-ish yards,
Yeah,
but working its way up a hill, and we were downhill and exposed.
yeah, we were not at the advantage in that at all.
Nope.
We tried. We gave it a shot. I tried to move ahead and try and get closer to the cow elk, and
Tried calling. And
yeah,
it just wandered off, and
boop, boop, boop.
decided not to try and push it and whatever else might be there and
Yeah,
mess up the spot.
yeah, because we knew we had to find some other options than the ones we looked at earlier. So
Yeah, we just weren't, spots we had found just weren't paying off the way we were wanting them to.
yeah, and in that process, Ken kind
us
of
lost.
started. No, we weren't really lost. We knew the area that we were in. We were just off our main trail and our usual path, but we came across
Another really nice trail with some heavy traffic on it. And we followed it for a little bit, scoped it out a little, and then decided to head back to camp and drop some gear and go back and look a little more, because it wasn't too far away.
no, it was like
Half a mile.
6/10, yeah, somewhere in there. So pretty close.
So we went back and did some discussing and thinking and exploring and hashing it out, and finally figured out what might offer us the best setup, and made a seat and cleared out some path, and then came back down to have lunch and get ready for the evening.
Yeah, and headed out. I don't know. We head out about 4 o'clock or 3:30.
I think so, somewhere around there.
Somewhere in there. Yeah, we were out there I think by 4.
Yeah, probably pretty close.
Yeah. So we set up and it was quiet. There was until about 10 after 6, I would say.
Yeah, somewhere right around there.
Quarter after 6. All of a sudden, a bugle let out in our back pocket, basically.
Front pocket.
Well, front pocket, yeah.
He was in front of us.
He was.
It was probably the closest bugle we've had the whole trip,
Yeah.
and it got real exciting then.
Yeah, it was hard not to. Yeah. Anyway, that's a side tangent, but I'm in my hide. The bugle is ahead and to the left uphill, and to the right of where the bugle came from, I have a cow and a calf coming downhill towards like an open path heading downhill from there. So she's coming downhill and then curls around into this path below me, and I see her coming. I don't have an open shot where she's going to come down and go through, so I sidestep, work my way over to my right where I've got a clear shooting lane as she's going behind the trees, and then she steps out in the opening. I've got my diaphragm call in. I do a cow call. She stops, just like you planned. And I'm down there. I said, well, we looked at that spot earlier today. That's 35 yards. I pull back, or I pull, aim, fire. Arrow goes good, and then right under her belly. It actually turned out to be 45 yards. I was off. I didn't take, I wasn't sure how much time I had. I was getting antsy. I didn't range her to make sure I had the right distance, and got in a hurry, got in a rush, and she probably would have given me an extra second or two to be sure. But it was a clean miss, no fur, no nothing, clean miss, so we didn't have a worry that way. But yeah.
But it was very exciting, and there were, what did you say, maybe 10 total elk in the group?
Maybe, yeah. It sounded like a small herd of horses taking off. So yeah, and then we sat back. We did a little cow calling in case somebody was hanging around and wasn't sure of the situation and might come back in to the cow calls, but nothing came back in or made an appearance. So then we just packed up for the night and got out of there, and I went back to the campsite and cried. No, I just whined a lot.
There was some whining,
Yeah.
but we cooked
Yeah.
up some food and started to feel a little better afterwards.
Yeah, and it just, it. I think it's gratifying to, we've had to work at it this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the work paid off last night in creating the situation we were looking for.
Yep.
So that's good. That's
That was,
progress.
yeah, and it felt good to be able to come up with a new spot, put in a setup, and actually have things fall into place.
Yep.
Our first sit out on it.
Yep. That being said, now that we scared them, they probably won't be back there for a while.
Probably not.
So that leads us to this morning.
We went back up on top of that ridge where we were yesterday morning. Sat there, and it was awfully quiet. There were a couple of little bugles off in the distance, and cattle down the hill mooing,
Coyotes
howling. So it was.
Yeah, even the squirrels weren't obnoxious.
No, so it was quiet. Not exactly what we were hoping for, but
no.
We packed it up and came back down and did some discussing on what we would want to do, because it didn't seem like that one was paying off either. So we decided, well, after some talking, we knew they kind of move between the bowl and the meadow, and we're kind of in between, so maybe we can do a little more looking and find some other trails that they may cross through. And we went back and started picking some trails, walking up them, and eventually we found one that had some pretty good fresh sign on it, a lot of fresh tracks. Started following that and jumped some elk apparently. I just heard, "Ken, call! And then I heard crunching of something running away.
Yeah, actually it was more like, call, darn it, call.
We were, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 yards apart, but there was a bunch of brush in between us. I looked over because I could hear them, but I couldn't see them or anything that was going on, so I tried calling, and I don't know that it did any good. But
we were a little late to the game by that point, and so the where I was going to this lip, the terrain went up, and then there was rocks.
Yep, rock
outcropping that dropped off, and it seemed like the elk probably had its head just above that rock outcropping. The big cow that was keeping an eye on stuff, and as I got closer, I didn't see her head for the rocks there, and I was, I don't know, less than 20 yards away, and all of a sudden this elk goes bolting out and takes the rest of the crew with her out of there, and I'm going, oh, and I, usually when we're walking around and hunting and scouting at the same time, you carry a diaphragm call in your mouth so you can make a cow call, hopefully, or a calf call, and hopefully you get somebody to slow down, stop, pay attention, and see what's going on. But I had left mine in my pocket at that point, didn't do me much good, and I put it in my pocket because, up to that point, Ken and I were walking side by side. Ken's right here, we're good. And I separated, and
yeah, the trail split, so we were each taking one.
Yeah. So, yeah. Close, but no cigar.
Close. Yep. Closer.
Yep. Yeah.
We continued on, and it took us out to the bowl, which is kind of where we were expecting. And I think we actually bumped some elk out of there on accident again.
Yeah, we didn't get a wind that tight, but
that wind we were talking about probably ratted us out.
Yeah, and the bull probably winded us, spotted us, and he didn't make an alarm call. He didn't bark at us, but he did do a communication call. And
says, "Let's go, ladies."
Yeah, getting his ladies moving. So we backed out right away.
Mm-hmm. Did a little bit more looking around there, and eventually found another little bit of a trail we followed out, and it will cut right across the little meadow there by the bowl. Found very fresh elk scat, so we knew they were just walking right across the meadow. Mm-hmm. So we spent a little more time working our way back towards this trail that we have close to camp, trying to find another intersecting trail. And it took some time, but we found one that looked like it had some good traffic on it. decided we will maybe give that one a try tonight.
Yeah, it was promising. He had some good cross trails to it. He had some terrain that should allow us to set up. No matter what the wind, we should be able to find a spot where our scent isn't blowing across the trail. Anyway, that's our goal. We want to go in early enough to get those setups figured out before the elk get moving. So
Yeah.
we'll have to get in there a little bit earlier than normal tonight to get that done. And did find Ken spotted a wallow. Out that direction, not
Yeah.
heavily used right now, but
No, but one that looks like it's got some trails coming from a couple different directions. So it probably gets checked. Nobody's claimed it yet.
yeah. So that's our plan for tonight: is to go out, sit that wallow trail, and see what
Hope
we
something
can
comes
do.
through.
Yeah.
And
Not a bad spot because it's
No.
halfway close to camp. If
Yeah.
we get one tonight,
and camp is downhill, so
yeah,
animal's going to want to run downhill, so it'll only bring it closer.
that would be a good thing.
Yes, it would.
And we might just sit that one tomorrow morning too, just
Yeah,
because
we'll see.
we're depends on whether we bust somebody tonight. Depends on whether we get somebody tonight, and depends on what the movement is like. But it appeared that there was traffic going both ways,
Yeah,
so
we will see. It's all about timing.
right place, right time, and it only takes one.
You would hope.
Yeah, I thought that yesterday too, but that one wasn't the one apparently.
Apparently not.
The one is still out there waiting for me.
Yep. We'll find it.
Yep.
So
Tonight would be a good night.
it would be. But that catches you up. And I guess we'll have to update you later once tomorrow comes around and there's daylight.
Yeah, and we'll try not to forget, so we have so much to catch up on.
Sounds like a plan.
All right.
See you later.